Gentlemen, you are watching the Potsy and Tino show.
It's the Potsy and Tino show. Talk the facts and let opinions blow. Laughs, hot takes, and maybe a rant. Two best buds with the mic and a plan.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings to you its tag team champions of the world. That's right, Tino Gray, who's got Tino Gray hair, apparently. But and Rob Potsy Pochek, that's right, the Potsy and Tino show. We are back together. We are live in your, on your computers, I guess. How do people even watch this shit anymore? I don't know. Our theme song, well, it was created by us. So there you go. We created our own theme song. We do still like to give Adam's House Cat a nice little request. You know, if you want their song, by all means. We used to use the wrestling song. It's a great song. You totally should check it out. But Tino,
it was 99 cents 99.
It is on iTunes for 99 Jones.
I don't get to say that anymore.
Well, we get our theme song actually does say Jones in there.
I don't get to say 99.
You really don't. That's the one thing I didn't add to the theme song because you know how much I disliked it the whole time. So 99 Jones. Anyways, Tino, we always start the show off with a wonderful segment we call "What's Up with You." So, my friend, tell me.
I got a lot going on this week. I got I've got one of these that's left over from the beach last week because tomorrow's a holiday. So I'm starting off early for a holiday.
You have the day off?
Huh?
You have the day off?
Oh yeah, because it's a national holiday and everybody should be celebrating it. And I'm a pop.
What is July 15th?
The day of my birth.
Oh, is it a birthday?
Tomorrow's my birthday.
You're calling that a national holiday? You son of a bitch.
Damn it. To me.
Tino, you son of a bitch.
Everybody in this house, it's a holiday. Nah, so I'm excited about it.
At least you didn't call it a holy day.
Holy day.
Holy day. Holy. We should not do that.
No.
Apple will probably put a cross up on your screen.
So tomorrow's I am going in the office. I probably won't go in for long. I'll go in for a couple hours because I still got a lot of catching up from being at the beach last week. So today, and so I'd say I'll go in for a little bit more, but then I'm coming home and we're probably going to go. There's a hibachi restaurant right here in Cary. We jokingly call it the fake Conky. So that's we're going to do that tomorrow night. And then you've been to Nantucket Grill, right, in Durham?
Yeah.
So this year, usually my wife makes carrot cake, but I had one a couple of years ago, and I'm like, that's what I want again. I'm getting the fucking strawberry shortcake.
From Nantucket Grill?
Yes. Oh,
the whole cake. Oh!
Because you know those fucking slices are so you see those slices. So people who haven't, there's a place called Nantucket Grill, and they're nice grill, but a nice restaurant, fancy restaurant, but I think they're more famous for their desserts. So they give you their slices. So I want you guys to think of the to-go styrofoams that you get from the restaurants when you get your to-go. One slice of cake is that's to go. They put that. That's what they put it in. That's one slice. I remember a couple probably about a month or so ago. I'm like, I was in the mood for just a slice, and I went and got 3 slices. 3 slices. That shit was like almost $40, but it was worth it. Those things are fucking huge.
It was
so I'm getting a whole cake.
It was 3 full cakes, is what you're saying, and you're 100% right. Like that shit ain't small.
So I'm so.
By the way, if you're in the audience, go ahead and say hi.
I'm so stinking excited, and so got that going on. Then I'm off to Hickory this weekend, Friday, Saturday. But tomorrow I think that's the big thing. That's the big thing is my birthday, my birthday. So I'm just I mean, I'm like a big kid for my birthday. I love my birthday, dude. Nicole used to laugh at me when we first. Well, I used to take it was like a birthday month, and then when Nicole and I started dating, I was a little older then and a little more mature, so I just did a birthday week. So so
No, hey, the older I get, the longer time I want for my birthday, and I was born the week of Christmas.
Yep. Oh God, yeah. Yep.
So and like for me, when I worked at GameStop, I wouldn't get any of that time off.
That's
I always got mad because you know what? So I was born on December 22nd, right? The only day GameStop the entire year was open till 11 p.m. unless we were doing midnight launches. Was fucking December 22nd.
really.
And I swear they did that because they knew that it was my birthday.
That's exactly why they did that.
Like I know you're sitting there being sarcastic, but I literally think it's because people knew who I was that they went, you know what, this motherfucker, we're gonna make sure that he has to pull a 13-hour fucking day on his birthday. And every year I had to pull a 13-hour day, except when I worked for my boss, Kevin. When I worked for Kevin Dixon, he sat there and he'd be like, Rob, I'm okay if you take a half day because I know it's your birthday. Wouldn't give me off, but would let me take a half day.
Would you take the first half or the second half?
Second half. I'd go in for the morning because then I could sit there and bitch and moan and say it's my birthday, and everybody be like, "Oh, happy birthday!"
Yes, I've already said this is going to be a birthday week. I've already sent word down to my partner that I play in Hickory with. I'm like, celebration continues. So Friday night I'll be DJing, so I know some people will be there, and then Saturday we play. So yeah.
Oh yeah, you got to tell everybody that's just your birthday on those. Like, hey, I'm celebrating my birthday, blah blah blah. And then before you know it, all those Corona extras are going to be bought for you.
Well, I drink free anyway there because the owner loves me.
but people end up sitting there either tipping you more or they sit there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I think that's about it. Like I said, we had a blast at the beach last week. That's where I still have these left over from the beach, man, because I just sit on the beach and it was supposed to rain all week, and we got there and the weather, I mean, it would drizzle and then it would blow over. Perfect weather. You get on the beach, the breeze coming off the water. It wasn't hot. Sit out there all day just drinking, listening to music, and just chilling, dude. I did not want to come back to work today.
See, I'll tell you, you got lucky because last week when I decided I was going to go down my sister's for July 4th, we got through July 4th with just a little drizzle, and that was fine. But then July 5th in Myrtle Beach, a fucking tropical storm came out of nowhere. It had a name, Tino. They named it Chantal.
That's the one that hit here when I was my coworker, because my office is off of Western Boulevard. She texted me a picture. Western was fucking flooded. I mean, when I say flooded, it's one of those, if you hit your car would drift away. It was flooded. I was like, holy shit. And I'm down here, I'm like, here's to you.
My mom and dad decided to leave on Saturday as the fucking storm was hitting. Because my mom was like, well, if a storm's going to be here, we're not going to be able to do what we want anyway, so I'm just going to go home. And she drove through the whole fucking thing.
It was, because I don't think I can, the picture's not going to show up. I'm texting you the picture she sent me, and that's like right there near my office where I work.
Dude, Bill Powell is in the audience. I want to sit there and just say, welcome to the show. Tino, you might remember Bill. Bill was one of the guys that used to work. He would show up at Arnie's when we would go to Arnie's, and him and his wife at the time would come out to the show, and either you were playing or we were doing karaoke, and Bill would be in the audience, and we would talk wrestling with him because he grew up with Kurt Angle, so we would sit there and talk with Bill about.
Remember that? Yeah. That's a while ago, man.
So want to sit there and say thanks, Bill, for being in the audience tonight. I have two crazy Uber stories. And one of them's not really an Uber story. It's after I got home from my Uber yesterday.
Mhm.
But I have one from tonight too, and I'll try to keep them short. The first one is last night I decided to go out, and our buddy Mr. Helios was out as well. So I was sitting there drinking with Mr. Helios and took an Uber home. When I got home, I was so hungry. How hungry were you?
You did it
I'll-
again.
I did. I did.
Did
I-
it again. For those who don't know, Rob, tell them what you did last time when I laughed at you.
I don't even remember last time. I remember this time.
All I know is you had food for like 3 days. You know, it was like pizza and what was it? Pizza, the wings, and all that, wasn't it?
Oh well, the pizza and wings. I'll eat that for 3-4 days, whatever. But this, I ordered Carolina Ale House. Okay.
Okay.
And I got home. It was probably midnight. So like my Grubhub options were limited. Right. I placed an order for Grubhub from Carolina Ale House, and I must have passed out. Okay. Because I woke up at 6:00 in the morning on my couch.
Oh no.
And I got up and I was like, I know I ordered food.
There
So I
ants in
walked
it?
to the front door and I had 2 bags of shit that was like this tall. So
Did you order?
okay, you want to know what I ordered? I don't know how much it cost. I haven't looked at my bill. But I ordered, and I shit you not, this is what I ordered last night. I ordered a ribeye steak. Okay. I ordered I ordered a Philly cheesesteak sandwich,
Okay.
which I was smart enough to actually like cancel out the items I didn't want on it. Okay. Which came with fries. The ribeye steak came with broccoli and like some sort of like mushroom sauce on top of it. I ordered 2 orders of bacon cheese fries.
What the hell, Rob?
I also ordered
Oh my
2
God.
orders of their dessert donuts. At 6:00 in the morning, I walk outside. It's all still sitting there. So I just picked it up, brought it in, went to bed at that point because I was like, I'm hungover as fuck. I'm going back to bed, whatever. Like, got up, took a look at all the food. I didn't even put it in the fridge. I
my
literally just took it out, put it on top of the counter, made sure there weren't any ants or anything all in my food. And then I started repackaging it so that way it was like all the bacon cheese fries are together, all this is together, all that, and I ate the cheesesteak at like 11 o'clock this morning. So it was perfectly fine. Because I mean that all this type of food actually sits for at least 12 hours without any worries. But I was like, I don't even want to look at the bill.
You spend that sounds like a good $200 at least.
I don't think it would be 200, but I bet with the fees and everything, I spent $100.
Oh, it's going to be over 100.
Yeah, I bet it was $100. And I last night when I was sitting there after watching Evolution, I was probably like, fuck it, I'm hungry. And I think it was actually 2 orders. I don't even think I ordered one and was done. I think I ordered 2 separate orders, and they both showed up at the exact same time because the receipts on both of them said the exact same thing on them. So I think they went, this guy just added to his order, whatever. Take it at once, whatever. So tonight, though, I was taking an Uber, and the guy that picked me up, it was an M-Class Mercedes. So I was like, holy shit, like I hit the jackpot, right? And I'm in this car, and the dude sits there and goes, I've lived in Durham my whole life, blah, blah, blah. And kind of looks like Lionel Luther from Smallville.
Okay.
Without all the hair. So it's like he shaved his hair, but he's got the beard and everything. Looks like Lionel Luther. He sits there and he starts talking to me about something. And I was like, I was like, I worked at GameStop for 14 years, and the one thing that never happened, and I, knock it on wood, I was like, the one thing that never happened was I never got robbed. And like, it didn't matter if I was in Durham, didn't matter if I was on Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh, didn't matter any of that stuff. Like I lucked out, and in my retail experience, I never got robbed. But I thought that it was because of how I treated people. I thought that, like, the people that were getting ready to rob a store would sit there and go, no, not this one, because he's cool. Go down the street, go get that one. And the reason why I say that is because in a lot of cases, like a week after I'd be moved to another store, that's when that store would get robbed.
Oh shit.
And I even told the Uber driver, I was like, it wasn't me. I promise it wasn't me that actually did it. But he sat there and proceeded to tell me that he now does Uber, driving his M-Class Mercedes. But he's sitting there and he's talking about how, like, back in the day, he was a pizza delivery guy off of, like, Guest Road in Durham. And he goes, man, I was robbed at gunpoint like 6 times.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, holy shit, you kept doing it? And he's like, after like the 3rd time, it was like a rush. Like you would start like picking out, like, that guy's getting ready to rob me, that kind of. And I'm like,
no,
you ain't right, bro. like I'm a comic book writer. That sounds like some vigilante bullshit, like you're getting ready to become the Punisher here in a minute. And he's like, so he started telling me all the stories about how, like, when he got robbed. And he's like, one time this guy sat there and said to him, like, he goes, hey, he's knocking on the door because he's like, he could see a guy like holding the gun up like this, like in the shadows. And so he gets up to the door as fast as he can. He starts knocking on the door. Guy opens the door and he goes, did you order a pizza? And he's like, fuck no, I didn't order a pizza. He's like, I think I'm getting ready to get robbed. And the guy grabs him, pulls him into the house, and then starts yelling out the door at the guy that's going to rob him. He's like, motherfuckers, get the fuck out of here. This guy just trying to deliver pizza.
Oh, damn.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is going to end up being in one of my comic books.
Oh, God.
So anyways, next week I fly out to San Diego for San Diego Comic-Con. So we will do a show next week on Monday. I am doing the Keen Spot 25th anniversary at Comic-Con panel. I will be the host of the panel, so I will actually be like the actual speaker, and then asking all the questions to everybody else at the panel. Pretty cool to be involved with that. Like my first one, I think, was the 18th annual, and I did the 20th annual. And I've been away, I guess, for 2 years now. So coming back and hosting the 25th anniversary panel to me is kind of like a really big thing. And then that's on Thursday night at 6:00 in one of the ballrooms that they have at the convention center. And then on Sunday, before I fly back, I will be on a panel that's like first year comic book publishers, like the do's and don'ts and the positives and negatives of what happens in that first year of trying to make comic books. So I'll be on that panel as well. So I'm pretty excited about what's going on. I haven't announced my actual like signing schedule or anything, because I did ask for some passes to get different like signings for myself so that I can actually go to like Jim Lee signing or Todd McFarlane signing or things like that. So that is supposed to, like, they're supposed to announce what you get and what you don't on like the 17th. So shortly after that, I'll announce my actual schedule for what I'm doing when I'll actually be at the booth. One of the cool things, though, is my buddy D. Hosner, who did one of the covers for both Dreadmut and Died Hard #2. He's going to be at the show, so I asked him if he wants to come over to the table and actually do a signing with me. So him and I will actually be sitting there for a bit, just bullshitting with each other. But if, you come up and want your D. Hausner cover signed by him, he'll be there to sign that, which is pretty awesome. It's the first time we're going to meet in person. So like he's been following me for a long time. And I like his artwork. So I told him, hey, you want to do some covers for me? I'd love to have you do them. And it's because he has the same attitude that I do about making comics, which is pretty much, I don't do it for the money. I do it because I love doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to get as much work out there as possible so that people can enjoy what I've come up with. And he's kind of the same way. He does a book called Kid Nebula. He's got issue 1 out right now. I think he's doing a Kickstarter for issue 2. And he just told me that he plans to use one of my pieces for a cover for issue number 3. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I even told him today, I was like, well, I know I sent you a piece before and I kind of liked it, but nobody likes their artwork after it's like 6 months old. So I'm going to go ahead and do something else. So I started working on something for him for that. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty exciting to me. The other stuff going on, man, like, this past weekend, it was all wrestling all the time. Apparently it was, we watched, you and me watched 7 hours of pro wrestling on Saturday, and that didn't even cover one of the shows on Saturday. So, so you ready to talk about it?
Yeah, because it's going to take.
You know what? Before we do that, though, I got 2 other things.
Oh, God dang it.
Well, the first one you normally like talking about, which is what you've been watching on TV.
Yeah, so I've obviously finished watching, I guess it was the last
Poker
episode.
Face.
Oh, my God. This ending was awesome. It's a nice little twist. So if you guys watch Poker Face, you hadn't seen it, I'm gonna let you watch it. I'll give you, but just the twist at the end. And while I'm watching Bernie Mac, the Triple H episode was on today. I saw that one today.
So Tino's been going back, just so everybody knows. I think 2 weeks ago he did mention that he was watching the old Bernie Mac shows, and I guess he finally got to the Triple H episode today, which perfectly rhymes in with our show, right? So
that's what I thought. It was awesome. Yeah, it's Triple H, and that's it was funny to me because that would be me too if I found his number, I'd call him too. Hey, he said, just say it one time. He goes, I am the game, and I'm that damn good. He said, say it one time, and I'll leave you alone. He goes, I am the game, and I'm that damn good. Okay, thanks. Call you tomorrow.
Yeah, call you tomorrow. And of course, did Triple H actually call Bernie Mac back and say, don't ever give your kid the phone?
No, he kept calling him. He goes, yeah. He goes, oh yeah, where do you live? He goes, I'm not that dumb, Triple H, right? So he had him the whole time, right? And finally, he was on the phone, and Bernie had to make a phone call, so he picked up the extension. He's like, Jordan, get off the phone. And Triple H, Bernie? He goes, Paul? He goes, He goes, I know you are now. But this whole episode, he would call him, and Triple H trying to figure out who it was, and he wouldn't tell him. He goes, you know when I find you, I'm going to kill you, right, kid? He goes, yeah, but you won't ever find me.
So I know, right? Like you see that. Well, and it's wasn't it a cell phone that he was picking up?
Yes.
Yeah. So he would have seen the number.
He put up his house phone. The kid was calling from a cell phone. But the last time, that's what I don't understand. The last time, if Bernie picked up the extension, the kid slipped up and called him from the house phone. So I don't know. Paul Levesque must not have had Bernie's home number or whatever. But it was hilarious. It was
not surprising that a pro wrestler would sit there and give his number out and not know the other person's number. I just saying, but so Tino, I watched the first 2 episodes of Dexter Resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever watch Dexter?
Never did.
Wow.
Never did.
So this picks up after the entire Dexter New Blood series, which happened last year, where Dexter had taken on a new identity and everything. And the way it starts is he keeps having like flashbacks, but he's also seeing like hallucinations of different people that he's murdered throughout the series, because he's a serial murderer, right? And for those that don't know, I don't know why you don't. The series was 2004 to 2010 or some shit. Dexter is a serial killer that only kills bad people. Like he has a code, which is why that's how he does things. But there's certain points where he kills this person accidentally, or he kills this, and those are the people that seem to show up in his nightmares while he's recovering from his own son shooting him in the chest at the end of the Dexter New Blood series. I think this series is done to kind of like really be a payoff for the whole Dexter mythos, because apparently this season, like, Peter Dinklage plays a character, Neil Patrick Harris plays a character, Uma Thurman plays a character, the fat gay guy from Modern Family plays a character, and they're all serial killers, right? So they're all serial killers, and they're having a convention of all serial killers in New York City. Just happens to be at the hotel that Dexter's son works at, and Dexter is trying to make sure that his son doesn't slip up after he killed somebody who deserved it, right? That's where we are at this point. The show's been really good so far. It's by the same guy that created the entire series. Interestingly enough, though, the second episode was written by the controversial showrunner of like the last 4 seasons of Dexter. So people didn't necessarily like what he did with Dexter after season 3. But he wrote the second episode of this series, and I thought it was good, and I've been enjoying it. Also, I am into season 4 of The Wire, which is a 20-year-old series on HBO. So just like the Bernie Mac show, where they've got house phones. Like the whole concept of the show The Wire is them getting wiretaps for drug dealers and politicians who are all like dirty and whatever. And the whole idea is, how do we get the wiretap on a payphone for the first couple seasons? And now they're getting wiretaps on burner cell phones because it happens in like 2006 versus 2004. Crazy thing is that, like, because it's an HBO show, okay, you watch Game of Thrones, right? All right. So in Game of Thrones, you had where, like, randomly one of the biggest name characters would just die, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the biggest bad guy in the show for the first 3 seasons is Idris Elba. Okay? And he's super skinny Idris Elba. He's not like the bulked up, like, guy he is today, playing opposite of John Cena in that movie Heads of State, which, by the way, was a lot of fun.
I hadn't watched it yet.
It's a lot of fun.
It's on
Prime. It's on Prime.
Okay, I gotta remember to go back and watch that.
But randomly, they get to like the second to last episode of season 3. Idris Elba gets shot and dies just as they were getting ready to bring him in. And I'm like, this is why Game of Thrones did what they fucking did. Because it's like you think he's the biggest name character and the biggest cat in the yard, and then all of a sudden, boom, he dead.
He did.
Fucks up the whole thing. He dead.
You stupid. He did.
He did. We got one other thing to talk about before we get to wrestling. And I promised you I would not ruin the movie. Movie's been out since Thursday. Prime users were able to go see it on Wednesday. But I know that you took Matthew to see it yesterday, so you tell me.
I took it Sunday.
Yeah, yesterday, Sunday, yeah.
Damn it, it was yesterday. Yeah.
What did you think?
Baby, that fucking shit was awesome. Excuse me.
That fucking shit.
It was awesome, dude. I was like, I wasn't sure. I
can't believe we don't have a bigger audience while we're talking about this shit. But go ahead.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. It was like, yeah. But it was James Gunn. So I'm like, all right, we'll see what dude. He did a phenomenal job. That movie was awesome.
All right. I'm going to talk about a couple things that should not spoil the movie. Should not. No. Hey.
Yeah, you.
When was the last time I actually spoiled the movie?
This is the this part of the show is Potsy. So when he fucking spoils something, remember, don't cuss out Tino. I'm just sitting back. I ain't said a damn word. So go ahead.
All right. Number one, I want to go ahead and thank DC Universe Movies for not sitting there and breaking the rule and posting something 3 days later saying, oh, Thunderbolts was the new Avengers. I want to thank them for not doing anything like that because it had nothing to do with the movie. I also want to sit there and point out to you that what I really liked was we didn't get an origin story. This is 3 years after he came out as Superman. We already know the origin story of Superman. So them with the first minute or minute and a half of the film sitting there giving us like the breakdown of what had happened. Someone actually posted on Facebook today. They said giving us the description of a movie that we never got to see. And I don't like that because I loved how they did it. And they said 30 years ago, a ship crash landed on Earth. 3 years ago, we got to hear. 3 months ago, we got to this. 3 minutes ago, we got to this, right? I loved that. I absolutely loved it because we don't need to see the origin anymore. Everybody knows who Superman is.
Yeah, agreed.
100% loved that. I didn't feel like any of the other superhero appearances negatively affected what you thought of Superman.
There was one that I was not expecting at all, and it came out of left field, and it made me laugh so hard. I think you know which one I'm talking about.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
I'm like, what does
and his name is John C.
I'm like,
no, I'm kidding. I felt I really liked the language that Superman used because he sounded like a Kansas farm boy. I liked how angry he got in the interview with Lois Lane, which, by the way, was in the previews.
Don't. Some people's mind.
Nope, that's it. I liked how angry he got. And I'm going to say right now that besides Jesse Eisenberg, who played Lex Luthor in Batman vs. Superman and Justice League and all those Zack Snyder movies, there has never been a badly cast Lex Luthor. Like, Nicholas Hoult was amazing as Lex Luthor in this film. Especially with the scene where he's holding up his coffee mug. Fucking incredible. The movie, I would give it an 8 to an 8.5. It's a really solid start for the DCU. Especially after Creature Commandos, which obviously is part of this universe. And we go right into Peacemaker in next month. So like they're getting the ball rolling. Couple cameos, things like that we all laughed at, we all enjoyed. I had one thing I did not like about the movie. One. and I don't think it spoils anything.
Remember, folks, I'm sitting back.
The one thing I did not like about the movie was that Superman never, ever, ever called Crypto a good boy or a good dog.
Why didn't you like that?
I get that the dog was a pain in the ass for most of the movie, but I can't spoil it. I'm just saying that at one point, any point during the movie, hell, the first 5 minutes, which were actually shown online, where Crypto takes him to the Fortress of Solitude, how did he not sit there and say good boy? And I want to point out, because this is a James Gunn movie, James Gunn in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 had his brother, Sean Gunn, who played Kraglin with the thing on his head, through the entire movie until the very end, called Cosmo the Space Dog a bad dog. So I'm beginning to think that James Gunn has something against dogs.
Get to wrestling.
I didn't spoil anything, did I?
No. Let's get to wrestling before you do, because we're almost 40 minutes in.
All right. So, folks, we are going to start with... We're only going to do the PLEs and the pay-per-views because last week there was so damn much pro wrestling. I mean, hell,
I didn't watch a lot of it.
TNA even had a pay-per-view this weekend, so I didn't even see that. But we're going to start with the Great American Bash. So I got it pulled up.
Yeah.
First matchup was Javon Evans versus Jasper Troy, the winner of LFG Season 1. Thoughts?
Surprising. I didn't think that they were going to. I'm happy with it. I like the ending, but I didn't think that they were going to let, because they've been. I won't say squashing Javon Evans, but he has so much more potential. And then when they put him up against Jasper Troy, I'm like, they're going to squash him, and Jasper's going to keep moving on. So I was pleasantly surprised that he pulled it off.
I liked the fact that that he had that one big super comeback where they're sitting there and like Corey Graves and Booker T and what's his face are sitting there and they're like, holy shit, this guy's actually like putting something together against someone who's like 70 pounds bigger than him. And I really enjoyed that. And then all of a sudden he just slapped the shit out of him and he felt, and he was done.
It's like, never mind.
I think that Jasper Troy, with what everybody knows of him, this is a good coming out party, but he didn't need to win. And to your statement, Javon Evans needed a statement win against a big man because he'd been going against people like Obafemi and getting not squashed, but not like an AEW match where you get 74 pinfall attempts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I like this. I thought it was good. Next up was Sol Ruka and Zarya were interviewed, but Sol Ruka went up against Izzy Dame.
Good match for what it was. I really thought that they were going to let Izzy get over. I thought that Tatum was going to help Izzy get this belt off of Sol, because right now I think Sol's got that belt and she's got the
NXT
speed
tag
belt.
team. Oh yeah, she does. She does.
So I something's still missing, and I'm a Sol Ruka fan. Something's still missing that Izzy has. You know what I mean? Izzy, I think she's a complete package.
I I don't see that. I do think Sol Ruka is the full package. I think that when you see Sol Ruka, I immediately, and I've already said this, she's like the dirty hot girl.
The
And
dirty hot girl.
so she's like the rave chick, right? Like you see her in her Instagram photos and you're like, damn, that chick is hot. Then you see her up close and you're like, she's still hot, but she's not like those pictures on Instagram hot. And then you see her in the ring and you're like, holy shit, she's got it all. And I think Izzy Dame has been working up to that. And I think obviously by being part of like the D'Angelo family and now part of Sean Spears' group, they're trying to give her an identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that she really had one before this. So I think that this was a match to show what she's capable of doing, and she showed up. Sol Ruka still got the win.
Yes.
And you know, it was one of those things where she hit the damn Soul Snatcher, which is still one of the top finishing moves in all of pro wrestling, and she can hit it from almost anywhere. Well, I said almost anywhere. RKOs can be hit from anywhere. The Soul Snatcher, she's got to go off that top rope to do it.
Yeah.
So she's got 4 spots where she can do it from. But she, I mean, every time she nails it, it's you know.
I think it's one of my favorite finishers right now.
Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints, Falls Count Anywhere for the North American Championship.
I just knew Ricky Saints was going to get that belt back.
And
he didn't. I was pissed. It was a good match. It was a hell of a match. I just didn't. I didn't agree with the end of it. I didn't agree with the Ethan keeping the belt.
You know, I like the decision here, and the reason why, because I even think when Junior and I when Junior, I don't think we actually gave predictions for this show, but if I had given a prediction, I would have said Ricky Saints as well, because I was thinking Ethan Page is getting called up.
That part. That's what I was about to say.
I think that this goes back to the whole thing where I have told you, and we've talked about this at length, NXT doesn't have the male talent on the roster to sit there and go calling all of these male roster people up right now. Like they've got to maintain a male roster on NXT. So Ethan Page, who is 38 years old, doesn't need to be in NXT, but neither does Sean Spears. And yet both of those guys are like cornerstones of the male division right now.
But they do. We've discussed this too. And in NXT, they have the males. They just haven't. They're relying on the same ones. There's some that are like diamonds in the rough that could step up to the top spot if they gave them a chance.
Well, I think we're actually getting ready to see that on Tuesday night, because we're going to get the fall of the D'Angelo family and all 3 of those guys. Lucifino.
Lucifino, the Underboss, and Tony D'Angelo. But then you have those guys.
You got Josh Briggs.
Right, but you don't forget Randy Orton Jr. You got him. Mr. Bourne. You've got Tavian Heights. You've got Tavian Heights, whatever. He's in with the No Quarter Catch crew.
Okay, yeah. Although, aren't they disbanded at this point?
No. Bourne.
Just Miles Bourne is out.
Bourne and Heights is trying to get out. But
and Charlie Dempsey. Let's not forget Charlie Dempsey.
I was about to say Regal Jr. won't let him out, but you got Regal Jr. So I mean, you've got talent that they can push, right? And are good hands, you know what I'm saying?
You know what the difference is, though? Is that they're all homegrown talent, and we admit that. There's still name recognition with Ethan Page and Ricky Saints. Especially since Ethan Page kept his name.
But here's the thing, though, and again, I go back.
And he has one of the catchiest theme songs, and I hate to say it because like it shouldn't be, but his theme song is catchy.
Yeah. But it goes back to what you bitch about AEW doing. They're getting the WWE for the name and not pushing up their homegrown people, right?
You're not wrong. You're absolutely right in what you're saying to me. You're 100% correct. I argue this all the time that they bring in a WWE name, they bring them in as an offshoot to the name or whatever, and they fall to mid-card. The difference is, and this is the big difference, is that NXT doesn't just exploit that name, but they enhance that name. Blake Monroe, for example.
Right. But and I see what you're saying. I agree. But they got their name out there, right? So let them be in NXT because he came in, he won the title off top, the world. I mean, the world
faster
title, right?
than anybody else.
Right now he's NXT, right? So they used his name. He's ready to be pushed up to let somebody come up behind him. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, right?
You know what the difference is though with that, and again, I 100% agree with you. Which, by the way, I normally don't agree with you 100% on this kind of thing. When you go, AEW does it, you get all mad, but WWE does it, you blah, 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 blah.
Because it's true.
Here's the difference with it, is that I would rather Ethan Page stay where he's being pushed to his absolute limits as a top name in NXT, rather than go to SmackDown, which is now only 2 hours, and get relegated to jobbing to the Miz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at this point, there have to be staple names in NXT, and I think Sean Spears is a prime example of that. The guy who was Ty Dillinger was a staple of NXT for how many years before they put him into that Royal Rumble, and then they immediately released him after that because he never did anything on SmackDown or Raw. Now he left AEW because they didn't do shit with him there, even though Cody Rhodes let him do the chair shot to the fucking head, which is a no-no from anybody except GCW, which we can talk about in a minute. I don't care, but fact is that like I really think that these guys understand that their role is to enhance the talent that is coming up, while also making sure that they stay prominent, prevalent, and like at a top level, because they weren't even being used on AEW.
Okay, and you're right. Enhance, right? Well, I guess Ricky Stark doesn't really need the rub because he's got a name. I was gonna say let Ricky have the belt, but bring somebody, if not Ricky Starks, bring a Javon Evans back and let him get that rub and get that belt off of Ethan, and then Ethan can go work with the next one. You know what I mean?
Sure. But that might be what they're doing. They might be sitting there going and saying Ricky Saints doesn't need to win this belt off of Ethan Page, and that's why Ethan Page maintained the championship.
Right.
You know, so I again 100% I agree with you. Like I feel like I just sat there and had you go, shit. He's right. He just got me to admit that what they did was actually smart booking. And I don't know, it might not be. Like if they continue this, you're absolutely right. It's going to be something where it's like, why are they wasting this championship on these two established names?
Like with Moxley. Thank God we'll talk about that later. But you know what I'm saying? They had so many chances and they didn't. I just don't want them to do that with Ethan. You know, I don't want them to waste talent. And not, like LA Knight, they took their time lighting LA Knight up. You know what I mean? They took their time with Sammy. They took, you know, these guys are white hot, but they're like, nah. And so by the time they finally get to it,
you know, I absolutely agree. It's one of those things where it's like, if you were watching NXT back in the day, Charlotte Flair, by the way, admitted in an interview recently that there should have been a fifth horsewoman, and it should have been Alexa Bliss. Now, I don't know if that was just to give her a rub because they're being a tag team right now or not, but we all know that when she was in NXT, Alexa Bliss was an afterthought. When she got called up to the main roster, she immediately became world champion because Vince McMahon was like, she's hot. Like, we know it. And Vince McMahon did that not even knowing that the bitch had talent. And she's still my favorite female wrestler on the main roster. Like, because she delivers every time. There was a move during Evolution, and I know we're going to talk about it, but there was a move during Evolution where she got thrown over the top rope, and I was like, they're trying to kill her. And luckily, one of the women actually caught her and made sure that she did not hit her head on her way down of being thrown out of the ring. And it was amazing. And that's just the thing that Alexa Bliss does. But going back to this, Ethan and Ricky obviously had something from the previous company they worked at. The NXT crowd is knowledgeable of AEW. We know this. SmackDown and Raw, not necessarily knowledgeable of AEW, right? But we know that WWE and AEW have actually competed against each other, and we know that NXT specifically is looked at as the same level of AEW, at least from WWE standpoint. And because of that, this kind of match, I think, puts Ricky Saints into a spot where even losing that match, he can now sit there and go, Obafemi, I'm ready for you.
Okay.
You know, and Ethan Page can sit there and say, I deserve to be a double champ because he won the match.
We won.
Next up. Sorry, and yes, that took longer than it probably needed to. Oh, what? Okay, the cage side seats doesn't actually have the rest of that match. So let me pull it up on something else. Hold on. Obafemi versus Yoshiki Inamura for the NXT Championship. I don't know if this is the last match on the card. No, there was Blake Monroe and Jordan Grace versus JC Jane and Fallon Henley.
That was the main.
That was the main event.
Yeah. Here's another.
However, I think it's more important to talk about the Obafemi match afterwards because of Evolution.
Here is another one. Oba could have lost that. They could have let Yoshi win this, and Oba could have gone up, right? Because I get you want to have pillars, but you don't want to have too many, right? Oba's been there a while. Oba's, again, like Ethan, he's done it all. He's beat everybody. There's nobody else left to beat, really. I mean, now I think they're going to push him in Briggs, but he's going to beat Briggs too. You know what I'm saying? Briggs isn't going to take that belt off of him. I'd be surprised if they let Briggs take that belt off of him.
Well, I have a suggestion and an idea. Obviously, we haven't talked about the Seth Rollins injury, but what if Paul Heyman decides to make an Empire statement and bring Obafemi up to be part of the group with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed?
I almost want to say,
as the new Brock Lesnar, if you will.
I almost want to say, because now there's a whole bunch, and we'll talk about the Seth Rollins thing too, because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on about that. But I was like, Seth Rollins, what if Seth Rollins was the Shawn Michaels of DX, and now Shawn Michaels is out? So what if
Braun Breaker becomes that?
He becomes a Triple H. He steps up, and they still bring somebody else in, but Breaker becomes the leader. Now,
well, if they were to bring an Obafemi in, for example, and by the way, folks, we understand that Monday Night Raw is happening right now.
So we are
not watching it. We have no knowledge of it. I do know that there's a gauntlet match, a 5-man gauntlet match to determine Gunther's opponent. And
Breaker's in it.
At Breaker, CM Punk, Penta, two other guys.
I also thought too, and just to pull something out my ass, what if they fucking CM Punk takes his place, and now Rollins has to come back to face CM Punk because Punk is a Heyman guy.
I am going to read to you a message that I sent to Junior, who was hosting the show with me last week, because we were talking about this stuff. And hold on, I gotta find it because we talk a lot. But he sat there and he said that, and obviously we're talking about the NXT show still, but one of the things that I said to him specifically was, what if CM Punk becomes the leader of that group and we go from there with it? And then, of course, they get to the point where whoever wins the belt off of Gunther ends up losing to the idea ended up becoming that Seth Rollins will maintain that Money in the Bank championship. And then when he's ready to come back, let's say LA Knight beats Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth Rollins ends up cashing in on him, which would get a major pop for Seth Rollins' return. So basically exactly what you were saying. But let's go back to Great American Bash.
Okay. So Briggs, and right now Briggs and Yoshi, I'm gonna just say Briggs tried to cheat. Yoshi was like, no, I want to do it the right way, and he ended up losing. So is that you think that's gonna cause a rift with them, or you think Yoshi it'll be like the old New Day where
no, I think this is the breakup. And I think it's a deserved and necessary breakup. The two characters really don't mesh very well from what I've seen. The other side of it is that Obafemi actually offering Inamura another match down the line, because Inamura was saying, I didn't want to have this kind of interference and everything else, and then Josh Briggs getting in the middle means we're going to get a three-way dance, which, to your credit, knowing that Obafemi is ready to be called up to the main roster, this is a way to get the belt off of him without him actually taking a loss.
Okay.
You know, you do a three-way dance between Josh Briggs, Inamura, and I think that it's the anointing of Josh Briggs. I think that it finally shows what he's capable of. They finally got him with a decent haircut. They finally got him like ready to go. Like he's been a really weird character for NXT for so long that now is the time to pull the trigger and actually have him turn full on heel, win the title. Obafemi doesn't even care because he gets called up to the main roster, and then him and Inamura can continue their feud.
Okay.
JC Jane, Fallon Henley versus Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe. Obviously, we're not going to talk about Evolution yet. So, what'd you think of the match?
I didn't get to finish watching that, but I did read that Blake Monroe pinned JC Jane.
Yes. Blake Monroe pinned the NXT Women's Champion during this match, and it was solid. It was a good match. Like I've been very impressed since JC Jane has won the NXT Women's title, because I never thought that she was ready for it. So what she's been able to accomplish since winning the belt, I've been very impressed with. It's like they gave her, they were like, here, run with this. And she's been like, how fast do I have to run? You know what I mean? Like, that's what she's been doing. And all the credit in the world to her. She's been great.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for the next show?
Yeah, let's do it.
6.5 hours of wrestling.
All right.
So I said to you, because you called me on Friday before this event even happened, you sat there and said, or Thursday, you said, I'm going to be in town. How about we do this at your house? what time does it start? And I was like, it starts at 3. And you go, okay, that's the pre-show. And I said, no, the pre-show starts at 2. And you were like, well, fuck that. I'm not going to make the pre-show.
No.
And all week, by the way, and I'll let you speak in just a second, but all week we were hearing that Tony Khan was sitting there saying this show will be over before Saturday night's main event starts. That was not the case, Tino.
At all.
Not at all.
At all.
Not at all in.
I was surprised because I even said, are they really going to go against Saturday night's main event? I didn't think they would, but he was bold.
Well, it obviously was the biggest show of the year for AEW because All In is their WrestleMania.
WrestleMania, yeah.
The fact that WWE was petty enough to sit there and put Saturday night's main event against it, and I know that they claim that the NBC Universal deal dictates when they put those shows on, but give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. Now, to Tony Khan's credit, he sat there, noticed that they were doing it, and said, fuck this shit. We're not going to start at 7 and go to midnight like we normally do. We're going to start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're going to go to 9. 6 fucking hours, man. And it delivered. I am going to sit there and say this was probably their best pay-per-view event.
It totally delivered.
It maybe their best pay-per-view event ever. And they've had good ones. What's up?
Let's get to it. We're an hour in.
All right. Sorry. All right. Do we care about 0 Hour?
No.
All right. Sons of Texas and the Von Erichs defeated Shane Taylor Promotions. Conglomeration and Big Boom AJ defeated Don Callis family. And FTR defeated the Outrunners. That one was big. And I want to go ahead and point out why. Because the Outrunners were wearing fucking trunks that look like goddamn Newport packs. Like they literally look like they were a cigarette pack in the ring. And the match delivered, by the way. It was a good match. You walked in just as that match was coming to a conclusion. Yeah. But this led to further on down the road FTR stuff going on. They claimed that they were done with the Outrunners. They're moving on to new stuff, and they did. So, next up, the Trios Championship match, the Ops versus the Death Riders, where we had the Flaming Sharpay, Wheeler Yuta.
The Flaming Sharpay.
And the two bald bastards, Gabe Kidd and Claudio Castagnoli versus Shibata, Will Hobbs, and of course Samoa Joe. Now this match ended with the Ops winning, but what happened after?
They tried to kill Samoa Joe.
Them motherfuckers tried to kill Samoa Joe.
They continue their murderous ways on national television, and they tried to murder Samoa Joe on national TV.
He's not wrong, folks. They didn't pull out a plastic bag for this one, but they did try to murder Samoa Joe.
And Tony Khan keeps letting this happen.
Yeah, what the fuck is he thinking?
And they're already suing him anyway. Mox is getting sued for some bullshit, so they gonna.
Moxley's getting sued for like hurting a cameraman.
Yep.
Yeah. But the Ops wins. They maintain the championships. Is this a way so Samoa Joe can be written off for a little while that they can put Hook into the Ops as the third member of that championship team?
I thought about that because I think when Samoa Joe does come back, I think they're gonna have a program with him and Hook. I got a feeling they're gonna be fighting.
You asked me where is Hook during this match, and I sat there and said it's very possible that Hook hasn't re-signed a contract And it is possible that Hook has been informed by his father to start looking at the WWE as new employment. But what we just said makes a lot of sense. Put Hook into this position. Let him be the other member of this team. Because when you look at it,
he's
Hook,
supposed to anyway. He's because Will Hobbs took Hook's place.
exactly. Match by Bleacher Report was given a B+, by the way. Then we had Adam Cole coming out and vacating the TNT title.
Yeah, that was sad. I'm wondering what's going on with him because they made it like because the first something you're like, oh, he's hurt again, but then he's like, oh, I might have to retire. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, it was serious.
Turns out it's another concussion.
Oh, they did say?
No. I used my inside sources. Looks like it's another concussion. And because of concussion history with Adam Cole, like it's going to take a while, if ever, for him to get cleared to wrestle again. I even saw Tommaso Ciampa post earlier today that said,
"Your source, aka Busted Open."
No.
Oh.
No, sir.
All right, so Tommaso Ciampa.
Tommaso Ciampa actually posted one of the best people he knows, not just one of the best people he's wrestled, not one of the best people he shared the ring with, but one of the best people he knows and one of the nicest people ever in the professional wrestling business. And a lot of people have actually claimed that because that came from a WWE wrestler to an AEW wrestler, that really shows that this is super serious and something that, like, we may never see Adam Cole in a wrestling ring again. And knowing what Bryan Danielson had to deal with to get back in the wrestling ring after like 7 years, this is like, and it's unfortunate because Adam Cole really was probably one of the best 5 wrestlers in the entire industry. So thinking about that's pretty rough. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Adam Cole, baby, because he really was special, and we may never get to see him do it again. Let's move on. Men's Casino Gauntlet match. Started out with MJF and Mark Briscoe. Can I voice my anger at the beginning of this? Because I voiced it to you while we were watching.
Oh, okay.
So it's not anger, really. It's just disappointment. The fact that MJF claimed all week long that he intended to win this match before the third person even came down to the ring. And then the motherfucker sits there and is like gyrating his dick and like taking his time. And then all of a sudden the interval happens, the third person comes down, and it's like, why were you wasting the fucking time? This is so between you and me, Tino, I'm going to say right now, this kind of match was one of the things that, like, I'm looking at going, why is this match ending when there's a pinfall or submission? Why are we waiting? Like, why do we randomly have someone 15 minutes down the road coming down to this match? Like, the match makes no sense.
Well, when you just say gauntlet, it's like you go through, because when I was like, okay, gauntlet, so somebody loses, the next person runs in. They lose, the next person runs in. But then they were like, the first falls to the finish. I'm like, well, that's not a gauntlet match.
They sit there and they try to sit there and get you going, here are the rules. And then all of a sudden, like 4 minutes into the match, you're like, is that really the rule? You know what I mean? Like, and and I have one really big gripe about the entire pay-per-view, but I'm going to wait until we actually talk about the main event to actually say it. I hope I don't forget. MJF wins this match about 30-something minutes in, after the motherfucker said he's going to win it in the first 5 minutes.
Well, I thought the commentators were stupid because they're like, you know what I'm about to say. How did he kick out of that? Like this. I popped Rob so hard on that.
Folks, that wasn't this match, by the way, that you said.
No.
That this was the tag team match.
I got him. I got you there. You popped for that one.
All right. I'm going to put this in context as to how he actually said it.
Because I said it so seriously. I'm like, my God.
Well, I don't remember which commentator it was. It might have been Nigel McGuinness. It might have been
funny because you were shitting on Shivani all night.
I was shitting on Shivani. Shivani sat there and said, this guy's been getting beat up the entire match. And the guy's in a comeback as he's saying it. Like, it's like he wasn't even watching the fucking match. But all of a sudden, Shivani goes, I don't even know how he kicked out of that. And Tino goes, he did it like this.
And Rob wasn't even expecting.
And I look over and I'm like, and I started laughing. I couldn't stop. Like it was great. Like Tino popped me so fucking hard at that moment. Like I lost my shit. I was like, so the rest of the night we're sitting there going, he went like this.
He went like this.
He went like this. He went like that.
Like this.
This time he went like this. But all night we were sitting there doing that. Fucking hilarious. But MJF wins this match. He now has a guaranteed title shot. They've never explained the rules on when he can use this title shot. Like, is it at a future pay-per-view? Is it at...
I think it's got to be like Money in the Bank. I don't think they could have used it that same night. I don't think they ever said, you know, you have to wait a certain amount of time or you can't do it tonight. You have to do it at a certain point. I think it's anytime. So
Bleacher Report actually says, in the end, MJF got the win and earned a future title shot at the time and place of his choosing. So this is the difference there. At the time and place. So he's got to choose it.
Well, what if he chose to do it that night, though? You know what I mean?
Maybe he has to choose it at the beginning. I don't know. Because Christian chose it like randomly, like Money in the Bank. I don't know. Like it annoys me that the rules aren't set in stone. You know what I mean? Next up, Daniel Garcia, Dustin Rhodes, Kyle Fletcher, Sammy Guevara. This was when Adam Cole actually relinquished his TNT championship. They wanted to make sure that nobody sits there and blames Kyle Fletcher for Adam Cole's current injury. It's just an unfortunate happenstance. I immediately sat there at the beginning of this match and said, I'll tell you the one person that's not winning this match is not going to be Dustin Rhodes. That's exactly what I said to Tino. And Tino, what happened?
Dustin Rhodes won the match.
How often am I that bad with my prediction?
That shit was hilarious. It was kind of like, oh yeah, Rob? Oh yeah? What? There you go.
That slapped me right across the face with his dick on that one. Like that's literally what happened here. Dustin Rhodes and Tino at this point. Okay. Adam Cole was crying when he relinquished the title. We're sitting there and we're like, okay, we kind of understand that. Dustin Rhodes wins this belt. He starts crying, and Tino sits there. Swear to God, folks. He sits there and goes, why's that bitch crying? I even had to bring it back in. I had to sit there and go, it's a feel-good moment. That's why he's crying. And you're like, it's a mid-card title. Why the fuck that motherfucker crying? That's how you said it, mate.
Yeah. It's not like he won the world title.
It's not like he unified the international and the continental belts into the non-intercontinental title.
That was fun. That was hilarious.
It was, but it was a feel-good moment.
Yeah.
It was something that was a lifelong thing.
You're
Dustin
like-
Rhodes now becomes the first guy
You're
to
like,
hold.
he ain't even from Texas. I was like, yes, he is. You're like, he's from Georgia. I'm like, no.
Well, that's because it was the Sons of Texas, and I was like, he's not even from Texas. Isn't he from Georgia?
That shit was hilarious.
All right, so Bleacher Report gave that a B.
Okay.
That's a solid match. We got a little dissension. We like everybody came in and congratulated Dustin Rhodes for the win, and Sammy Guevara was the one that handed him the title belt. He's like,
He had the boo-boo face.
he had the boo-boo face. All right. Then we got the Young Bucks versus Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay.
First of all, I have to give them their props, right?
Who?
Well, AEW, because that was a hell of a match. And the Young Bucks, because I really, how many times I said they're not going to let them win. They weren't selling. And I'm like, I was about to get pissed off. I'm not watching this shit no more. And we kept every near fall, me and Rob were like on the edge of the couch, like, oh. And then when they won, Hold on.
I want to point out that I sat there and said this match can't be over yet because there hasn't been 74 near falls.
Yeah. But I was so, I'm like, dude, the Young Bucks are going to do it. They're going to pull it off. They built this so good, and it was perfect. It was perfect build, and then they didn't let they AEW, like you said, this pay-per-view was probably their best pay-per-view.
I truly feel that what happened with this pay-per-view was Tony Khan actually listened to.
Yeah, you said that at the end of the show.
He listened to fan interaction and said, let's give you what you want and let's hit the restart button. And I really feel that this pay-per-view did that. This match really did that. I mean, we watched Ospreay take how many super. I was like, are the Usos doing this right now? Because he took what 12 to the mush.
I lost count.
Yeah, we both did. But he kicked out. I was joking that this was going to be one of those matches where you need 74 kickouts, but and I didn't even count how many, but it was probably 74 kickouts. The other side of it was that I also sat there and at one point I said, how many points extra does Meltzer give this match based on the fact that Will Ospreay is in it? And Tino's like, oh, at least 2. So this was a 6.25 star match in my estimate. 6.25 star.
What are we on Star Search now? 6.25 star.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, hell of a match.
Yes.
Nana took a fucking massive super kick.
They kicked his head off. I was like, oh, he did.
I was surprised he still had that thing on his head.
You're like, why is Nana coming out with a coffee cup? I'm like, dude, that's his shit. He's been doing that for over a year. You're like, really? I'm like, yeah.
He throws that shit out into the audience, though.
Yes. That's what he does every time. He'll come out
like,
and he'll swerve, right? And he'll
like,
drink it and he'll go,
swerve when I
and
drive.
he'll throw it.
Swerve when I drive.
Yeah.
He does all that shit. Anyways, fucking hellacious match.
All right. Yes.
And because we didn't understand the stipulation, we know that the Young Bucks are no longer the EVPs, but are Will Ospreay and Swerve.
Well, they took Ospreay out now. They tried to kill him too.
Well, we didn't get there.
Okay.
Yet. So let's not jump the gun. Women's Casino Gauntlet match.
I get 2 shits about that one too.
Harley Cameron came back
with the mask.
Well, that's because she got a nose job. surprisingly, as this match was happening, when Athena came down, what did I tell you?
Athena's going to win.
I said there's a very good possibility I could see her winning this match. And out of nowhere, she got the win with that over-the-top stunner thing that she does, which is awesome.
Call it the O face. They actually call it the O. They call it the O. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But this
this
immediately made me think that Mercedes Moné was winning the women's title match because Athena lost to her during the Owen Hart thing. Then we got the Hurt Syndicate versus Jet Speed versus the Patriarchy. And Tino, I'm going to let you explain what I said I expected to happen in this match or after the match.
Oh my God. So we all know that Rob's got a big ass head. So let me start off by saying that. And
it is kind of large.
He'll now and I also want to point out too that a couple of months ago when I called something happened, he didn't want to give me credit, but now you see him wanting me to show off his shit. So
hey, I told you earlier tonight I 100% agree with you on multiple things.
He'll never admit when I was right because I called something a couple of months back, and remember because I got pissed and I almost didn't do the show because I cussed his ass out. But
that was the night that you actually said, "I'm gonna click the." And you clicked the button, and you were like, "Oh shit! I didn't mean to actually click the button."
No, I'm talking about when I called you earlier that day, and I almost didn't come on the show at all because I was pissed when I cussed you out on the phone. And then you're like, "Oh, I was going to give you props." I was pissed.
Hey, I'm going to say right now, this show is the Potsy and Tino show, which means when we call something, we call something. How about that?
Okay, so you can give me credit for this call too?
I mean, I said it, but
that means no, folks. That means no. He can never be wrong.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
The whole thing.
But I want to hear it.
So some asshole.
Wow, asshole.
Some asshole fuckboy, when we were watching the pay-per-view, said that Mother Wayne's kid, Nick Wayne, was going to turn on Christian and Edge was going to come down and save him.
But I actually explained like how I expected it all to happen. Like I said, it's going to get to the point where like Christian sits there, pushes the guys out of the way, and what happened? All of a sudden, as Christian went to leave, that's when Nick Wayne finally did his thing. The whole thing with Mama Wayne and everything else, I was like, Mama Wayne's gonna slap the shit out of him. Yeah. She did.
So all that happened because we're at an hour and a half now, and it's.
This was a 6-hour show, man. It's hard to get.
You were right. So yeah, he turned. Christian got slapped by Mama Wayne. Edge came down, told him to go find himself instead of go fuck yourself. And then
and our feed wasn't very good on that, so we were like, "What the fuck did he just say?"
Oh, I heard him say, "Go find yourself."
Yeah, but it like there was the movement of the mouths was different, you know. Like it was a badly dubbed moment. But now we're gonna get to the. I guess the finale of Edge and Christian.
I don't like that being in AEW. I don't like it being in AEW. If I had to say, I'd rather them have the one last run in WWE as Edge and Christian.
You know, surprisingly though, I'll say this: if it's in AEW, at least the two of them are prominent figures. Whereas they could be lost in the shuffle if they were to go back to WWE.
It can be Edge and Christian. I don't want Adam Copeland. I want Edge and Christian.
Well, it's Christian Cage too. Let's not forget that it's not Christian.
You know what I
mean. But you're absolutely right. The whole Cope and Christian thing. It's Cope and Christian Cage. Like, Hurt Syndicate wins the match.
I was surprised.
A little bit, yeah. I almost thought Jet Speed was because Jet Speed has been shit on since they've been together,
and they still have. And you were talking about his Speed Racer belt.
motherfucking Mike Bailey sitting there wearing Speed Racer trunks. And you're like, well, that's because his name's Speedball. I was like, no, they're actually in the same font and everything. But anyways, yeah. Tony Storm versus Mercedes Moné. And never have I ever been sitting watching a wrestling event. I have to say this, Tino. Never have I ever been watching a wrestling event sitting next to one of my best friends, Tino, and had him sit there and go, that's motherfucking bullshit. And then all of a sudden, like 3 seconds later, he's sitting there jumping up and high-fiving me because of the finish of the match. Fucking amazing.
Because we thought it ended like we thought Monet won at that point, and I was pissed. And then it wasn't. That motherfucking super
when she hit the 3 Storm Zeros and she didn't win the match, I was like, you yelled, this is fucking bullshit.
Because I thought at that point Mercedes was gonna win.
I mean, who didn't? Because and I looked at you and I said, well, if she can kick out of Chris Statlander doing a package pile driver, she can kick out of that. And you were like, still bullshit. Continue.
But that Superstorm Zero, though, I'm like, if she kicks out of that, I'm just gonna turn this fucking shit off. And she didn't. It was awesome.
She didn't. So the match was amazing. And, you know, early in the match, you actually sat there and said, Mercedes Moné can't wrestle. And I don't want to call you out for saying that, but you actually did say that. And I, who do not like her, sat there and said she can wrestle. She's actually a really good wrestler. She just shouldn't win all the time.
And you said she's boring.
And I said she's like Randy Orton. She's boring. You know, and I love Randy Orton, but he's boring. Like that's always been the thing attributed to him, is the fact that like he goes through these matches where it's like he doesn't even think about the shit, and he's nailing moves and doing this and doing that, and you're like, yeah, but the match was boring. But the match isn't boring. The match is skilled. It's set to a level where it's like they're just so good at what they do that you look at it and you're like, yeah, but I wasn't entertained as much.
Yeah.
And that's Mercedes Moné. Like, it literally is how she is. What's up, Chris Barrett? We haven't seen you in weeks. I do want to go ahead and give Toni Storm credit for what she said after the match. Tino, did you hear about this?
What Barrett just said?
Yeah. Maybe I can't say it out loud, but if you're in the audience and you see the chat from Chris Barrett, yes, Toni Storm said all of Mercedes Moné's lips tasted great. And there was that moment where she totally Tommy Dreamered. Like, that was the last time I remember seeing that move. To Mercedes Moné. Hell of a match. Like, again, though, I sat there and said, well, they didn't have 74 near falls. So we finally did get there. Toni Storm, still your women's world champion, and the right fucking call.
Yes. All right, let's go. We still got 2 more matches and fucking 2 more shows.
2 more events. Yeah. Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. Sorry. Bleacher Report gave it an A-. What did you think?
Of course they did, because Kenny Omega was in it.
Hey, you're off tomorrow. We can go a little bit long.
No, I'm not off tomorrow. I told you I got to go in.
Oh, I thought you were going in late.
No.
If you're going in early, you're leaving early. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yep.
What did you think of this match?
I thought it was a good match. I don't know if I can say it was an A- match. I mean,
I think for the in-ring stuff, it absolutely was. Those 2 guys have such amazing chemistry that they are able to put on a masterful match. And they'll be able to do it until they're 60.
Yeah.
You know? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to explain my issue with both WWE recently and AEW right now, because I think you'll agree with me. I'm tired of all the fucking outside interference happening throughout an entire card. In AEW, it happened all night long. Both gauntlet matches. The Mercedes match had Luther involved. This match had Don Callis and some people of the Don Callis family involved. It was just, I know that it's a way to get people involved on the card when you're trying to say, hey, it's our WrestleMania, let's get as many people involved as possible. I get that. It's also a way to sit there and either start new stories or extend the stories going on. I get all that. But you don't want to do it in every fucking match. And every fucking match felt like it had it, including, and the one match I was going to be like, oh, this one didn't. Tony Storm versus Mercedes Moné had Luther involved in the match. So every single match still had outside interference.
Yeah.
So it grated on my last nerve. And I only have one left. So the match, solid. I know Dave Meltzer is going to give it 6.5 stars. I'm going to give it 3. It wasn't their best match between the two of them. It did its job. And Tony Khan, after the match, sat there and said if this was under the Continental Championship rules, he would have fired Don Callis for getting involved with the match, and Kenny Omega would have won the match. So they're now saying this unified championship is going to be under the rules that the Kenny Omega Championship was under, not the rules of the other. And I don't even know what the fucking rules are. So
I don't either.
But now it's time to talk about the main event, Tino.
Yes.
Cowboy James Storm versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. And another motherfucker cried.
At least it's the world title. At least he won a damn good card.
Talk about it, please. Yeah, exactly.
So it started out being just the two of them, which I thought was interesting until the like you said, the interference started going on, and then Marina Shafir had to come in and put her nose in it, and I didn't quite understand why Moxley told her to give him the key. I missed that part. Like, what was the reason for that? Did you catch why he told her to give him the key?
He said something like he wasn't giving up that belt no matter what. Okay. And that's all I heard, but then she gave him the key. So I don't know. It didn't make sense.
Okay, I thought it was just me. I thought I missed something.
I know that she gave him a bag of glass.
That was awesome.
That was awesome?
That was awesome. You thought it was tax.
Tino and I were watching this match, folks. I want to point out, while Tino and I were watching this match, I asked him, did you watch the video I sent you from GCW where the guy had something on the top of his head and another guy hit him with a chair, and then all of a sudden he just had blood spurting out of the top of his head? And Tino was like, yeah, I saw it. It was disgusting. And I'm like, yeah. I don't know why I ever liked matches like that before. Like, I love Mick Foley old school matches, but yet somehow I never thought any of those matches meant he could die.
Oh yeah.
But he could have. And this match, Jon Moxley, literally, once again, we talked about it earlier because it's the fucking Not even Blackpool Combat Club. They're the damn Death Riders at this point.
Mhm.
Jon Moxley tried to kill Hangman Adam Page. Tried to kill him.
I don't understand why they keep doing that. Why they keep showing that on TV. Okay, and here's why.
Yeah, I
Remember
wanna hear
WWE used to do that. Don't try this at home stuff, right? You've got kids watching this shit, right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna go and like put plastic bags over the best friend's face, choke them out with fucking chains. I mean,
Very first kid that doesn't wake up from this shit, AEW is on the hook. And you're not wrong. And by the way, I 100% agree with what you're saying there. Like they'll try to sit there and say that WWE did it first, and WWE will be like, we never put a plastic bag over someone's head. We don't condone that. We've never condoned that. We actually fired a person for choking somebody.
and then you hired him because he's working for you now. Ho, ho, ho.
But that's the whole thing. You know, obviously WWE TKO being the biggest brand, they're going to be the ones that get called out on it, even though they've never done that. This whole thing with like the plastic bag, and I don't know, man. Like, how many times has Moxley actually tried to kill somebody on live television? It's been like 6 or 7 times at this point. Like, there's something wrong with that motherfucker. And there's something wrong with Tony Khan for allowing it.
Yeah, Tony Khan, not Storm. Yep.
Yeah, did I say Tony Storm?
No, I said Storm, then you said Tony Khan. I caught myself.
Oh, but there's something wrong with Tony Khan for allowing it. And so now we've gotten to this main event match. I just want to point out, I hated how much outside interference happened throughout the whole fucking thing. I know that I started talking about it already. I hated it. I hated it during the women's gauntlet match. I hated it during the MJF gauntlet match. I hated it during this match. Like, I understand that it was going to happen during this match, but it doesn't have to happen all fucking show long.
Mm-mm. They only needed it this match.
Yes! And we knew it was going to happen during this match. We specifically knew, because Hangman said, bring them all. We knew it was going to happen. All these other matches, yes, I also understand it's because they didn't have a match themselves or whatever, so they had to come down to keep their stories going. But guess what? That's what the 8 hours of fucking TV that you have is fucking for. If they're not good enough to be on the pay-per-view, they're not good enough to be on the pay-per-view.
No, I almost disagree with you there, because they're ending that Death Riders arc. They're ending that, so they had to bring that. It's like a crescendo, right? So
remember, I said this match, it was okay.
Okay.
We
So you're
knew
saying-
we were going to get Swerve
Gotcha.
and we were going to get Ospreay. We knew we were going to get that. We knew we were going to get the Young Bucks. We knew all that shit was going to happen. At the same time, all those other matches that led up to it, this is where I have a problem. And by the way, this is both companies. I had the same problem with Saturday night's main event having as much outside interference happening as I did with this show.
Okay.
So because I know you like to sit there and say, I only call out one company for it. No, I had the same problem with the other company. And in fact, let's jump right into Saturday night's main event.
No, you missed two very, very important things at the end of that match. Darby Allin came back, and so did Bryan Danielson.
The Darby Allin one was well played. The Daniel Bryanson one I told you my disgust, or not disgust, but my unhappiness with it.
But see, I didn't know. I hadn't heard that. I hadn't heard that till you said that.
So 2 days before the pay-per-view, Bryan Danielson was seen singing karaoke with all of the other AEW wrestlers, which kind of blew the moment. I will say this, when he showed up, fucking incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It allows him to go against Claudio and Dogface Gremlin and Gabe Kidd. Doesn't have to go against Jon Moxley because he didn't actually negatively affect Jon Moxley at all. And then you're right.
Moxley tried to kill him with a plastic bag. Yeah, he did.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. That was the first time he tried to kill someone.
Yep.
He hasn't officially killed anybody with that plastic bag yet. Which means those are the shittiest plastic bags anybody could actually afford. Just so everybody knows. But we need to move on.
Yes, Saturday night's main event.
Saturday night's main event. Let me pull this one up. I've got it. No, that's Great American Bash. Saturday night's main event. What? You and I started like singing the theme song during this. This starts at the main event, so I'm gonna try to go to the bottom and all right, let's see. Shit. All right. Randy Orton defeated Drew McIntyre.
But Jelly Roll got the jelly kicked out of him.
And Jelly got the jelly kicked out of him. You gotta talk about it.
Jelly got kicked and he rolled.
That was terrible. That was terrible.
There's not really much. I mean, it's set up the summer.
Oh, I didn't even talk about my best line of the night. The one that finally got you to pop during AEW. When Matt Jackson showed that he was chewing bubble gum, and I said, it's no wonder he can't kick ass. He's still chewing bubble gum. And you fell out laughing at that shit. And I know it's not as funny now, but it was fucking funny when I said it.
It's funny when you said it.
It was funny when I said it. Next up, we had... I'm still looking. Jelly Roll gets laid out. Okay, we're there. Okay. Naomi attacked Jade Cargill in the audience while she's like, "Hey!"
She knocked her ass out.
All right. Whew. Solo Sikoa versus Jimmy Uso. Big Jim. Tino, I've been asking you since the Usos split up, why does Big Jim keep getting hit with all of the bullshit?
I mean, isn't he the big brother? Like,
yeah.
Now little brother's got a title. So
not anymore. Well, oh yeah. Well, littlest brother got the title. Yeah.
So all of them had titles except him.
No. Jay doesn't have a title anymore.
I said have had. So he's the only one that hadn't had a single title yet.
Well, I said to you, I was like, why they keep shitting on him? And there's no answer. They just keep shitting on Big Jim.
Because he's Big Jim.
And then they give him that awful outfit to wear where it's got a one that looks like it's that looks like it's fucking tape going down his chest, and he's got a checkerboard.
Yeah.
Shit's terrible. Solo wins that match, and they wait until Big Jim gets the shit kicked out of him for Jacob Fatu to come out. And I'm sitting there like, Big Jim doesn't even get like help. Like they wait till he's passed out.
And they're like, oh, now, send the werewolf, now.
Yeah. Seth Rollins versus LA Knight, and I think that this is going to take up a little bit of time. I know you don't want it to. I don't want it to, but speak on it, please.
I almost thought it was going to be a work because even when they replayed it, he landed on his feet and then he just fell over. So I mean, I said at worst, he might have jammed his knee.
Nothing looked bad. Unfortunately, I think this is a constant thing of Seth Rollins coming back from injury too soon.
But I've been reading too, he was hurt going into that match. So that wasn't even, he didn't even get hurt in that match. He was hurt going in. They're going to use that as a reason for him to be out. And they've said too that the two scenarios. So either because you have a year to use that, so he can technically, if he's not going to be out that long, he can hold on to it and come back and use it. Or they might have to have some kind of tournament to crown a new, at worst case, crown a new
pull the whole Mr. Kennedy thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I feel like the Kennedy thing was forced. I feel like Randy Orton actually like pushed that. With this one, I do think that the plan is if they think Seth Rollins can come back in the next 9 months by WrestleMania, you keep it on him, then it's no longer in the purview of people. And then when he comes back, he immediately cashes in, wins the world title, and you're like, oh shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 100%, I'm with you on all of that. Like without a doubt, I think that's the agreement. The unfortunate thing here is that everything that's been talked about has said that LA Knight was supposed to lose this match.
Yeah, they called it on the fly for him to win that.
So he wins the match. Obviously, I think it was Paul Heyman that sat there and called back because he's on his phone and he's like, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden they're like, change the end, whatever, hit the BFT. Seth Rollins says he can finish the match. They do the BFT, 1, 2, 3. LA Knight wins. But it obviously hit the reset button on what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw going forward, right?
Yeah.
It also means, I really do think, we already talked about it, I think a character like Obafemi is exactly who that group needs to restart themselves. And again, folks, I want to point out, we're doing this during Monday Night Raw, so we do not know what's going on. I have no TV near me. Tino doesn't have his TV on. We are obviously just sitting here saying this, and that's what the plan that we think should happen could possibly be. And I said Obafemi. Tino did not. So, although you probably like it, right?
Yeah, I said no. I said CM Punk, but we'll see.
CM Punk's another good choice there. Turn him heel and have him sit. Although having a babyface CM Punk going against Gunther at SummerSlam makes a little more sense. Maybe having CM Punk turn heel at SummerSlam would be the way to go. Goldberg dominant early, but whiffs on spears. Goldberg loses his final match.
I just didn't think that was going to happen.
I don't think it was meant to happen. I think Goldberg was supposed to win.
In Atlanta, his last match, I didn't think he was going to lose. I thought he would win. He'd win the title, maybe not defend it. I mean, win the title, and then they just have a tournament. You know, you just stay. The next night he comes out on Raw or wherever, Raw, and just says, "Hey, here it is," lays it down in the ring, and then they have a tournament for it.
I think originally Seth Rollins was supposed to actually cash in.
Yeah.
And I think that Goldberg was probably supposed to win after the jackhammer. The spear on Charles Robinson was amazing.
Oh my God. He speared the shit out of him.
Like, little Nate, how is he not in the WWE Hall of Fame?
He's just a bump machine. He's not a bump machine.
Oh, he is a bump machine. He
I thought you said nobody could do. I thought that was only Dolph Ziggler. You said was the bump machine.
I did. You asshole. Yes, Dolph Ziggler is the bump machine, but Charles Robinson has been bumping for 30 years longer than Dolph Ziggler. Like, he'd been bumping since early WCW days.
Yeah.
So maybe Dolph Ziggler took that right from him. Little Nate is the only Nate we like. I don't know if you saw this, Tino. There was a video posted of Ric Flair doing a 3-minute a 3-minute plank. And somebody asked me who's the old guy that's passed out at the bar. And I sat there and said, no, he's not passed out. It's the Nature Boy Ric Flair doing a plank, but he's probably going to shit himself by the end of it because
he's got a muffler.
Well, no, haven't you heard? He's been kicked out of the same Tampa restaurant 6 times.
Again?
For shitting himself.
Oh, wait, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah.
He is so drunk he shits himself?
Apparently, he just can't control it anymore. Rick also gets blackout drunk and shits himself a lot. Chris Barrett, yeah. So yeah, this I don't mind putting this up on the screen because it really does seem to be a thing. I do want to point out that Bret Hart also made a statement about the end of Saturday Night's Main Event, because you and I were like, what just happened to Goldberg's speech, right?
They did a Hulk Hogan Ultimate War. No, Hulk Hogan Sting. We're desperately out of time.
They didn't even do that.
No.
They started asking Bill Goldberg, and then it just cut randomly. And Bret Hart was asked about it, and he said, I would have cut it as his music started.
Salty bitch.
All right. We got one more to go.
Dude, let's do. What are we? Hour? Yeah, we got to get off.
Yeah, I'm trying. WWE Revolution. First match up. I'm trying to find it. Sorry. Oh. Get the fuck. Oh. Triple threat match for the women's intercontinental title. Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria.
I really thought that
I call Lyra.
I think I called Becky.
Well, she retained.
Yes, I figured that Bayley and Lyra, but I thought because Bayley and Lyra would be so wrapped up in each other that Becky would be able to pull one off. And that's pretty much what she did. What did I say?
It said Brett is a menace to society.
Yeah, we ain't got time for all this.
We don't. What did you think of the match, though?
I thought it was an excellent match. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good match.
By the way, I want to go ahead and state, and you may agree with me on this, that Evolution, out of all of the wrestling that happened all weekend long, from Friday with SmackDown all the way through, Evolution was the best, the best overall show out of all of them. And I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't care if you're Dave fucking Meltzer sitting there saying, oh, nobody gets the Osprey 2-point addition and nobody gets the Kenny Omega bump. The truth is that Evolution delivered better than any of the other shows, and it had 8,800 people in attendance. Okay, it was, well, the place was only supposed to have 6,000, and then 8,800.
Wow!
So they over delivered on the population in the building. Okay.
No, I just thought it was a bigger arena. It looked like it was more people. That's why I said that.
It looked huge.
That's when you said 88. That's why I was like, that's it. I didn't mean like disrespect.
Yeah.
I thought it was more.
Yeah, no. I you know what? I apologize if I made it sound like I was negatively connotating towards you. The fact is that 8,800 people, and by the way, WWE announced 12,000 people for Saturday night's main event, 8,800 for Evolution. So that's already 20,000.
What was Great American Bash?
21,000. They did. I didn't see Great American Bash, but you know the joke was that AEW show with 21,000 tickets distributed, not sold, distributed, was going to be the biggest. Like, all three of the WWE shows weren't going to match that, and yet WWE matched and exceeded that. As well, no offense to AEW, three WWE events in arenas is going to outdo it.
Yeah.
You know, so I felt like this was really a coming out party for Lyra Valkyria. I felt like anybody who still didn't think that she deserved to be one of these top people going against two of the horsewomen really did cement her in that like she's that good.
I mean, she already beat Becky. Granted, it was NXT, but she beat Becky.
Yeah, but again, people don't necessarily watch NXT when they get called up. You know what I mean? So, next up was JC Jane versus Jordan Grace. And we had a swerve. Not when I drive, but
I didn't see it coming this soon. I knew that eventually Mariah May would go heel. I didn't think it'd be this soon. I thought they were going to at least let JC Jane lose the title to Jordan Grace, and then it was going to be Jordan and Blake, whatever they're calling her now, for the
Blake
title.
Monroe.
Yeah.
I thought that this match cemented her not necessarily as a heel, not necessarily as a babyface, but it was, I'm in it for myself. I'm in it for myself.
Huh?
I'm in it for myself. And that's what she did. Like, having her out there, because even when Jordan Grace was asking her if she wanted to be out there with her, she was like, why do you want me? And then she goes out there and she, like, I bet Tuesday night she doesn't even sit there and because you obviously know Jordan Grace is going to get in her face, but I don't even think you're going to see her sit there and take the, oh yeah, I did it because I wanted you to lose. I think it's going to be, I did it because I want to beat JC Jane.
Okay.
And I think it's
I thought for a split second she was about to join Fatal Influence.
But remember, she was beating up Fatal Influence throughout the entire match.
But they've done that before where somebody's been beating them up and they still joined them.
Yes, and you're right. And I absolutely hate every time that happens. And I've even said that to you. I'm like, why is it that they go 30 minutes with them beating the shit out of the other person? And then all of a sudden they go, hey, you know what? No, I'm going to beat you up now. What the fuck? But yeah, I agree. All right. Sorry. Where did my shit go? Okay. Next up, women's tag team fatal 4-way match. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez retained over the Kabuki Warriors, which was Asuka and Kairi, Alexa and Charlotte, and Zaruka, which is Solruka and Zarya.
I really thought for a split second that it was going to be Charlotte and Alexa.
I thought so too. I understand why they didn't do it, and in fact, I would almost think that not doing it means that Liv Morgan's injury probably isn't as bad as originally thought.
Why?
Well, because Liv Morgan coming back to the Judgment Day and seeing those two be successful tag team champions is going to blow the roof off of her. You know what I mean?
So does Liv come to the face?
Oh, yes. And she was already being cheered even as the heel. So yeah. But just like you said, I really did think this was going to be Charlotte and Alexa. And I've said on record, and I don't think you were here for it, I sat there and said, I truly believe that they're doing everything they can to get Charlotte over as a babyface, and they're now using Alexa Bliss's positive reaction with fans to get Charlotte over.
I didn't know that because they were, and I think there was an article that Charlotte came out with, and she was, saying how people. It takes her a while to realize that people are booing Charlotte, not booing her. I think when she came out like that and opened up to people, and people were like, oh shit. Because if you notice, they were chanting, we want Charlotte before she got tagged in.
I don't know, man. I think they just wanted new tag team champions. But I really think that it's because they used that positive vibe that Alexa was getting before.
Because
and by the way, you may be right, but you may be right because what I'm saying is right. They may be chanting we want Charlotte because they like this Kane version of Charlotte, with the Alexa Bliss being the Daniel Bryan character.
What I'm saying, I don't think Alexa has anything to do with it. I think it's that article because if you read it, she opened up, dude, and I think you got to understand the person.
I read some of the article. I didn't read the entire thing.
I think a big chunk of it is that. I mean, you might be right. Some of it might be Alexa, but I don't think it's all Alexa.
Well, we've seen it in the past where like Daniel Bryan and Kane, right? Daniel Bryan was on his way up, Kane was on his way out, and somehow between the two of them, by doing that weird hug shit, they ended up getting over like Rover. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
So, next match up. By the way, Roxanne and Raquel retained.
Yes.
Which also, like I said, makes me think that Liv Morgan's injury might not be as bad as originally thought. because it means that they're going to feud between the three of them. Tiffany Stratton retained the WWE Women's Championship over Trish Stratus. What did you think?
Tiffany had some moments in there where she was
Heelish?
And I don't know.
I think it's because Trish wasn't going to get booed.
No. Jade won that summer. Jade won Queen of the Ring. So they're not going to have two faces going against each other at SummerSlam. I think Tiffany's about to turn heel again.
You might be right.
I think that was planting seeds.
I liked when Tiffany came down and she said, "What time is it?" And she's doing the whole like this, and nobody sat there and said it's Tiffy time. So maybe you're right. Maybe she sits there and goes, "I've done everything. I have been at the top of the mountain for the last 6 months. I've lost one match this year. And yet you guys are still sitting there going, we want Trish, or we want Jade, or we want blah, blah, blah." And obviously, we know when it comes to, I haven't even talked about the Jade versus Naomi match, but we know that, like, they delivered, right? But you think that Tiffany's headed back towards heeldom, okay? And folks, I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments about this. No holds barred match. Jade Cargill defeated Naomi by pinfall.
And that was a done deal because they still need to, because Jade is on her way to SummerSlam to fight for a title, so they still need to elevate her. They still need to show, to push her. They need to make her sing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm getting tired now. I can't put my words together, but they need to.
They need to elevate her. You said it. They need to make her strong. And it's funny. The word that you were looking for was they need to make her strong. Because guess what? That's what they always say when they're talking about it behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
They need to make her strong. They need to make her look like a viable championship caliber opponent.
Incredible.
They need to really elevate her, and they did just that. She looked good, but I noticed, and I don't know if you did, and I'm going to ask you straight up because we didn't talk about Evolution. I noticed that when she won the match, that Bianca Belair looked a little off when she went to hold her hand up as the winner of the match.
Because I think there's still something strange between them, because if you look, she was looking off because Jay was side-eyeing her, like, because Jay was kind of like, what the fuck are you going to do now, right? So I think she was a little nervous because what if Jade popped off and just decided she's going to fucking snap?
I was more thinking that this was Bianca was upset that her two friends were still fighting this battle.
And I think she, because she knows, if you notice too, Naomi kept trying to come out and make up with Bianca and kept begging her. Jay never came out and tried to be like, hey, what's going on? So I think she's partly too, she doesn't know quite where she stands with Jade too. So I think that was like she's just unsure.
And then we got one final match, Tino. And I apologize, we're over 2 hours. Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky.
Fantastic fucking match. This match, it was back and forth, which I was surprised. Io kept up with Rhea. Rhea did power. Io used her speed. the part where they knocked with that drop kick to Jessica Carr from the top rope that knocked her out, which allowed them to go out in the audience and fight out there forever and come back in. That the whole match was fantastic.
You know, I didn't even mention one of the things on the internet was all about who was that hot blonde referee.
That Jessica Carr?
No. So specifically during the NXT Women's Championship match, they had a brand new, and she had two little like pigtails with her whole hair going. Vicky DeErico is the new women's referee, and her very first match that she got to do was during this Evolution pay-per-view as the NXT Championship match. And all I know is that people were sitting there going, who's this hottie on like TikTok, on X, on everything. And she responded to somebody, that's me.
That's awesome.
And her name is Vicky DeErico, and she was a Division I athlete who has now become a WWE official. So, sorry about that. I just wanted to mention it because I felt like it was important to.
So Rhea and Io are down. And fucking Naomi's music.
Burn it down! No. Seth Rollins came down and cashed it.
Nope. No, 2 hours, 11 minutes. We're not playing. We're gonna finish this. Naomi's music hit. She came running down and made it a 3-way, which makes sense because the heel character, if it's a 3-way, she can cheat. She can use weapons, and which is exactly what she did. She hit Io in the head, knocked Io out, jumped in the ring, threw Rhea into the turnbuckle, which threw her out in the ring, went back, did her little split-legged moonsault, pinned Io 1, 2, 3. We got a new champion, which fucking I thought she would have come out with, because everybody, you thought she was going after Tiffy. Because she's saying the whole time, you know, I was coming after Nia and you kept stopping me, you and your Money in the Bank, and I'm coming for you, I'm coming for you. So that whole swerve that they did at the end of that pay-per-view, I was just
You were in shock.
Even after it went off, I'm still looking at the blank screen like the fuck just happened.
So I want to try to give you some perspective here. Okay. And I'm going to try not to take too long. Fact is that Seth Rollins went down with an injury on Saturday Night's Main Event, right? And he was a major focus on Raw. Now that he's gone, I think that Triple H sat there and said, we're going to make Naomi the focus on Monday Night Raw, because Io Sky and Rhea Ripley are both going to be going after her. We ended our feud with Jade. Jade got her win. She's done with her. That allows Jade and Bianca after the Tiffy time shit at SummerSlam. Now we have a major focus on the women's division on Monday Night Raw, because Naomi, who, by the way, you and I have been talking for months, sitting there saying that they basically botched her return, has suddenly made her not only worth something, but made her the something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, literally run with it. Like, literally run with it. Go do something. Like, make her special. Because so far, since her return from TNA, she hasn't been special. We keep talking about that. When she won Money in the Bank, we were like, you know what? It's about time she won something. How's she gonna like make this work? I think it's because Triple H sat there and said, "Hey, Seth Rollins is out. Like, what do we do to make Raw important?" And I think this did it.
Yeah.
And Naomi in this character has been fucking flawless. She's been amazing. You know what I mean?
I think, this is probably one of her best. It's one of her best.
I think it's her best. I think she's never been this good.
Mm-mm.
I don't like the proceed with caution line, but she's been incredible. And the work rate has been top notch. So Naomi wins the match between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. It's so funny sitting there saying that, because like in any other sport, any other event, that's not how it works. Anything you want to say?
No.
Brother, I love you. We hadn't done this in a while. And I think it's your turn to sit there. Hold on. Let me make sure that the assets are saying what they're supposed to. Dreadmutt's now available on the KeenSpotShop.com. Tino, if you got any events going on this week, tell everybody what it is. But otherwise, get us out of here.
Tomorrow's a national holiday. You guys don't forget that. Tomorrow, in about that's an hour and a half. The national holiday, otherwise known as Tino's birthday, is tomorrow. And then I'll be in Hickory all weekend, next weekend, partying up for my birthday. Other than that, you can find me on Blue Sky. You can find me on I think I'm SC Tino on Blue Sky. I know I'm SC Tino. Tino R. Gray on Tino R. Gray Music on the TikTok. You can find us here each and every week right here on the Pots and Pans Network. We are on X as Potsy and Tino. Facebook, we are the Potsy and Tino Show. What you got, Rob? Thank you, Chris Barrett.
Chris Barrett said, "Thank you and happy birthday, cousin Tino Jones." On top of that, I do want to go ahead and say you can follow me on all of the socials, either Potchak, Rob Potsy Potchak. And folks, I will be in San Diego for San Diego Comic-Con next week. We will be here next week on Monday. Please come join us. It's going to be a blowout show. But yeah, otherwise, Tino's absolutely right. Like, celebrate his birthday. And with that said, I see Chris Barrett saying something else. What are you laughing at, cousin Potsy Jones? I'm just laughing because it's been a blast.
Yeah.
It's been a great time. And folks, I am going to ask that you listen to the entire theme song. Tino's using his iPad, obviously.
No, it's my MacBook. His
MacBook. That's why he's getting the hearts. I can't do that. See, like my Lenovo doesn't do that. But yeah. Listen to the theme song. I love it. I think it's great. Tino approves. And
good night.
We'll see you next week.
Ready? Noise. Ownership machines in Potsy and Tino.
For the Potsy and Tino Show.
Thanks for watching.
Monday night, it's time to go. Turn on the screen with the good time shows. Wrestling life and who knows what. If it's cool or weird, they're talking it up. It's the Potsy and Tino Show. Drop the facts and let opinions flow. Laughs, hot takes, and maybe a rant. Two best buds with the mic and a plan. From the square circle to the continent. to roll with Potsy and Tino. Let's go!